This is the Smith family and the loved ones of Rick Sanchez.
Didn't know that was a necessity, but...
No, it's nice. I think this might be it.
And here are his enemies spanning from Season 1 to Season 8. Those who not only threaten Rick's life, but also expose the darker corners of his soul. Right now, let's dive into the journey of unraveling the hatred of these villains together. The first enemy, Rick Prime, also known as Rick from the Prime Dimension. He's not just a simple antagonist, but the very source of all suffering and the architect of the tragic life of Rick C-137. While Rick C-137 constantly tries to bury his emotions with booze and a devil-may-care attitude, Rick Prime embodies cold-blooded ruthlessness and superhuman intellect. He considers himself the ultimate version of all Ricks, as he and C-137 are the only two in the multiverse who independently invented the portal gun without anyone handing it to them.
You know the worst part about inventing teleportation? Suddenly you're able to travel the whole galaxy, and the first thing you learn is you're the last guy to invent teleportation.
The greatest crime of Rick Prime, the one that turned him into Rick's sworn enemy, was creating the Omega device, a horrifying invention capable of erasing a being's existence from every reality. He used it to kill Diane, making her vanish forever from the memories and existence of all universes, and also murdered Beth from Universe C-137.
Some of you may have noticed that it's not just your Diane that's gone. She's also been erased from every universe across infinity. Diane was wiped from all existence by the weapon too cool for her name.
The Omega device.
This act wasn't just a punishment for Rick C-137's refusal to accept the portal gun that Rick Prime had invented, but also a twisted way to prove his sick philosophy, that family relationships are nothing but obstacles to the advancement of science.
Excuse me? Bro, Ricks don't pass on this. Who do you think you are? A different kind of Rick, I guess. Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
Unlike the image of Rick, often seen indulging in parties or pleasures, Rick Prime is a cold-blooded and terrifying figure. He doesn't care about anyone, willingly abandoning his family for 20 years without a shred of regret.
Why are you leaving?
Work stuff.
Prime possesses superhuman regenerative abilities and an ageless appearance, always showing up with an air of arrogance and disdain.
All right, here we go.
There it is.
Yep. Wow, the wife guy. Dead wife Rick. I'll tell you, this guy does not know when to quit. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
This decades-long feud finally came to an end in the episode Unmortricken. Even though Rick C-137 had spent his entire life hunting him down, in the end he still had to rely on evil Morty's help to track down and defeat Rick Prime.
Grandson.
Shitty, Grandpa. Ooh.
In the final showdown, when evil Morty disabled his ability to regenerate and Rick C-137 cornered him, Rick Prime still exuded a terrifying arrogance until the very last moment. He didn't beg for his life, but instead kept mocking Rick C-137, insisting that C-137 was no different from him.
What's your life without me?
Let's find out.
You would have been me.
Prime was brutally beaten to death by C-137, but his death brought no solace. He departed as a spiritual victor, leaving Rick C-137 in a pool of blood, consumed by an endless void, stripped of purpose, and realizing that revenge brought no peace. Rick Prime's legacy continues to haunt through the blueprint of the Omega device that evil Morty had stolen, posing an ongoing threat to Rick C-137's safety in the future.
Seriously though? Fuck you. Don't come after me. It won't go well.
Rick's second enemy. If Rick Prime is the tragic origin of Rick C-137, then evil Morty is the nightmare born from everything Rick himself created.
Get off me. What are you doing?
He's not a god or a cosmic entity, he's a Morty, a character originally meant to be nothing more than a brainwave shield or a dumb, obedient sidekick for Rick.
Yeah, it's gotta be that way. You're a camouflage.
Camouflage? What are you talking about, Rick?
However, evil Morty shattered that mold. Cold, ruthless, articulate, and possessing an intellect on par with, if not sometimes surpassing, Rick Sanchez. He's living proof of the consequences of the abuse that Ricks have inflicted on their own grandsons.
Either you're in or you're out, Morty. I'm tired of you weaponizing this half-assed threat. You want out, then fucking quit!
Evil Morty's journey began with a silent yet bloody coup. From controlling a puppet, evil Rick using a device hidden under an eye patch to manipulating his way into becoming the first president of the Citadel. Here, evil Morty carried out a brutal purge, wiping out all opposition within the Rick Council and nearly destroying the entire Citadel to fuel his ultimate plan. Breaking the central finite curve, the multiverse barrier that separates Ricks from universes where they aren't the smartest beings. Evil Morty wasn't seeking revenge, he just wanted freedom to escape the so-called endless loop of Rick. He stepped through the golden portal, leaving behind the chaos he despised. However, fate once again pulled him back during the Unmort Ricken event. When Rick C-137 caused chaos across the multiverse in his quest to find Rick Prime, Evil Morty was forced to intervene.
What the fuck are you doing? Oh shit! Evil Morty!
What do you care what I do to the curve? I thought your whole gimmick was fucking off. It's certainly what made me a fan.
You're right. I don't live here, which is why it's insane that you're still bugging me.
It was in this battle that his intelligence and cold-blooded nature shone the brightest. Without Evil Morty, Rick C-137 and Morty Prime might have met their end at the hands of Rick Prime. He fought with calm precision, using advanced technology to neutralize Rick Prime's ability to recover, paving the way for Rick C-137 to take down the greatest enemy of his life.
Oh, isn't this great? Okay, alright, I get it. What? Oh, shit.
Knock yourself out.
He helped Rick C-137 only because the Omega device was too dangerous to exist. Before leaving, he managed to steal the design of the Omega device from Rick Prime's brain and destroy its original form. Evil Morty warned Rick C-137 to leave him alone, or he would activate this device to end the so-called Rick experiment once and for all.
Seriously though? Fuck you. Don't come after me. It won't go well.
At this point in time, Evil Morty is the only one who has truly won. He has gained his freedom, holds the ultimate weapon in his hands, and is the one person Rick Sanchez will have to tread carefully around in the future. Rick's third enemy. Unlike the personal obsession named Rick Prime or the deep-seated danger of Evil Morty, the Galactic Federation is the most powerful collective force Rick Sanchez has ever faced. This massive organization controls thousands of planets and is primarily run by the insectoid race known as the Xanflorpites.
Terrorist and fugitive Rick Sanchez has just become the 6,048th planet to join the Galactic Federation.
To someone like Rick Sanchez who worships chaotic freedom, the Federation embodies everything he despises: bureaucracy, rigid rules, and hypocritical control. Long before Morty came into the picture, Rick, along with close friends like Bird Person and Squanchy, spent his youth as a freedom fighter, wreaking havoc on the system.
What are you in for? Everything.
The conflict reached its peak during Bird Person's wedding, where the bride, Tammy Guterman, revealed herself to be a spy. She ruthlessly assassinated Bird Person and paved the way for the Federation to take over Earth.
Taste of my squatch!
Come on, this way!
Under the Federation's rule, Earth became a tourist hotspot for aliens where humans were reduced to second-class citizens, monitored 24/7, and exploited for labor to pay off massive debts, with their wages consisting of antidepressant pills instead of food. This system boasted a democratic facade, but was in reality a military dictatorship where the currency Xanflorp was the sole measure of life's worth. However, no matter how immense the power, it couldn't surpass the intellect and audacity of Rick C-137. In the episode The Rick Shank Redemption, instead of resorting to bombs and weapons, Rick single-handedly brought down the entire economy of the Galactic Federation with one simple move.
Good pitches, kids. I'm almost proud. But watch closely as Grandpa topples an empire by changing a 1 to a 0.
This action instantly turned the elite Xanflorpites into bankrupt nobodies, causing the Federation's economy to collapse entirely. The president committed suicide, the military system descended into chaos, warships fled, and Earth was completely liberated from the control of the Empire, once considered the strongest in the galaxy.
No longer will the insects have domain over surface world!
Even though the old Empire has fallen, its remnants still linger stubbornly. Tammy continues to hunt Rick until she is eliminated in Mort Return of the Jerry. The Galactic Federation isn't just Rick's enemy, it embodies everything Rick despises: control, bureaucracy, dictatorship, and the loss of freedom.
You are not cleared to land! We will open fire! Hold your ground, men! You'll be heroes!
Rick's fourth enemy. If the Galactic Federation is the external invader, then the Council of Ricks is the festering wound from within, representing everything Rick C-137 despises the most: authority, rules, and herd mentality. Founded by Ricks from across the multiverse to protect one another, they built the Citadel, a secret stronghold spanning dimensions.
A lot of versions of me on different timelines had the same problem. So a few thousand versions of me had the ingenious idea of banding together.
However, instead of preserving the rebellious freedom that defines, Rick, this council turned geniuses into bureaucratic pencil pushers. Led by 6 Supreme members, the Council views Rick C-137 as the Rogue, and their greatest threat because he stubbornly refuses to join what he calls a flock of sheep.
Save your anti-Rick speech for the Council of Ricks, Terror Rick. Hey, save your Rick rules for the Sheep Ricks, Rick Pig.
The cruelty of the Council lies not only in imposing laws, but also in their inhumane attitude toward the Mortys. In their eyes, Mortys are not grandsons or human beings, but merely living camouflage devices. They industrialize the production of Mortys by manipulating the timeline to ensure Beth and Jerry meet, guaranteeing an endless supply for the Ricks. At the Citadel, Mortys are nothing more than second-class citizens, accessories that can be bought, replaced, and discarded without a second thought.
I hate you!
Oh, now. That ain't no way to talk to your pa. This is non-clone piece of shit.
The climax of the confrontation unfolds in the episode The Rick Shank Redemption. When Rick C-137 is captured by the Galactic Federation, the Council not only refuses to rescue him, but also sends the SEAL Team Ricks to assassinate him in an attempt to cover their tracks. This can be considered a fatal mistake on their part. Rick C-137 not only wipes out this special ops team, but also executes a crazy plan that no one could have anticipated, teleporting the entire Citadel straight into the heart of the Galactic Federation's prison and set a thief to catch a thief. Chaos, Rick C-137 disguised himself and infiltrated the ivory tower of the Council. He coldly slaughtered each member of the Council right at the meeting table, bringing an end to the reign of those who arrogantly consider themselves the overlords of all Ricks.
Good job, Morty. Let's go, kids.
What? What happened?
Oldest Rick trick in the book.
Fake gun, shoot me, and stand up.
The Council of Ricks isn't as brutally evil as Rick Prime or as cunning as evil Morty, but they represent what Rick despises the most. A supremacist Rick system where intelligence turns into tyranny, where Morty is seen as a mere tool, and where personal freedom is suffocated. The fall of the Council wasn't just a victory for Rick C-137, but also a reminder of the limits of power, even when it belongs to the smartest beings in the multiverse. Rick's fifth enemy. While the other enemies represent pure hatred, Phoenix Person is the most painful scar in Rick Sanchez's heart. Before becoming this killing machine, he was Bird Person, Rick's soulmate, a comrade who braved life and death alongside him, and the only one who truly understood the pain behind Rick's catchphrase,
"Wubba lubba dub dub" means.
That's just Rick's stupid nonsense catchphrase.
It's not nonsense at all. In my people's tongue, it means, "I am in great pain. Please help me."
The two of them fought together in the band The Flesh Curtains and stood against the Galactic Federation for freedom. Tragedy struck on Bird Person's wedding day when his wife, Tammy Guterman, revealed herself as a spy and ruthlessly shot him dead.
Tammy, what are you doing?
Sit your bird ass down.
Tammy?
However, that wasn't the end for Bird Person, as the Galactic Federation later resurrected him as Phoenix Person, a soulless cyborg armed to the teeth and programmed for combat.
Bird Person?
It is now Phoenix Person.
In this new form, he possessed terrifying strength, enough to defeat Rick C-137 in a one-on-one battle that nearly led to Rick's demise, if not for the timely intervention of the Smith family.
Step back! You're not killing him till we kick his ass, Bird Person.
The terror of Phoenix Person doesn't just lie in his metallic shell or his laser gun, but in the fact that he embodies Rick's failure to protect his loved ones. Every blow from Phoenix Person is a brutal reminder that Rick is a bad friend. Even though Rick later tried to repair his body and delve into his subconscious to bring his old friend back, their relationship could never return to what it once was.
Bird Person! It's me. Actual me, not a memory.
I am aware.
Well, are you aware you're in a coma and you're gonna die if you don't come with me?
Phoenix Person has now reverted to Bird Person, but with scars stitched all over, choosing to distance himself from Rick to care for his daughter, carrying the disappointment of having an egotistical friend who hid the existence of his child just to keep him around. Phoenix Person is proof that the most dangerous enemy isn't always the one who wants to destroy the world, but rather someone who once fought by your side, now turning against you with all the knowledge and scars from the past. Rick's sixth enemy. Zeep Xanflorp is a genius scientist living in the Microverse battery, essentially a miniature universe created by Rick solely to power his spaceship's battery.
Engine repair. All right, Morty, hold on to something. I then introduced that life to the wonders of electricity, which they now generate on a global scale.
Zeep possesses an intellect on par with Rick's, accompanied by arrogance and a disdainful attitude toward everything around him. What makes him terrifying isn't some extraordinary power capable of altering the universe, but the fact that Zeep is the most brutally honest and detestable mirror reflection of Rick Sanchez himself.
On this world, slaving away making your power? I mean, that's what I call slavery.
No, they work for each other in exchange for money.
Conflict arose when Zeep, with his ambition and talent, created a miniverse, a smaller universe inside the microverse to power his planet. The irony was that this invention cut off the energy supply to Rick's car, forcing Rick to venture inside to fix it. There, Rick bitterly realized he was facing another version of himself. Zeep had also created a society of slaves to serve his own purposes, also flipped the bird and called it Peace Among Worlds, and also held disdain for the president and his fellow beings. The showdown between the two eccentric geniuses reached its peak when both, along with Morty, get trapped in the Tennyverse, a deeper layer of the universe. Here, stripped of all modern technology, Zeep and Rick must rely on primitive intelligence to survive and craft machinery from plants, rocks, and pebbles. Despite brief moments of cooperation, Zeep's treacherous nature is revealed as he betrays Rick the moment he gets a chance to escape, even going as far as being ready to destroy the miniverse and Rick himself to protect his own ego.
Run, Morty! That asshole's willing to risk everything he cares about just to defeat me! He's psychotic!
However, Zeep's fate is not physical death like other enemies, but rather a complete mental destruction. A cruel punishment that's quintessentially Rick. After being defeated by Rick in a bloody one-on-one battle, Zeep is forced to accept the harsh truth. He is not a lord or savior, but merely a tiny, intelligent creature living inside the car battery of a drunken lunatic. He is compelled to keep living and bitterly return to work, generating electricity for Rick, all while carrying the eternal humiliation of knowing that his universe exists solely because a spaceship needs to start. Zeep Xanflorp isn't an evil or powerful villain. He's a mirror reflecting Rick's arrogance, selfishness, and irresponsibility. Meeting Zeep forces Rick to confront the darker side of himself, something he's always tried to avoid. Rick's seventh enemy. Risotto Groupon, the one considered a ghost from Rick's irresponsible past. Appearing in the episode The Whirly-Durly Conspiracy, Risotto is an alien with a rather humorous appearance, resembling a blue poodle, and works as a restaurant manager at the Immortality Field Resort. However, behind that harmless exterior lies a deep grudge, revealed to be the result of Rick once selling weapons to Risotto's enemies, indirectly causing his kingdom to be overthrown and forcing him into exile.
My kingdom was usurped by force, with weapons and technologies.
Risotto is dangerous in the way he knows how to seize opportunities and exploit human psychology. Noticing that Jerry harbored resentment toward Rick for breaking up his marriage with Beth, Risotto roped him into a plan to assassinate Rick right in the blind spot of the Immortality Field on the Whirly-Durly roller coaster. Although the plan failed and led to the destruction of the Immortality Field, Risotto's persistence pushed Rick into a life-or-death situation. The climax of the confrontation takes place aboard a commercial spacecraft where Rick is injected with a neural inhibitor by airport security, turning the mad genius into a harmless and naive child. Risotto corners Rick and Jerry, leaving them with no way out, and only a bizarre stroke of luck as the ship passes through a wormhole saves them. In the fleeting moment of mind melding during the journey through the wormhole, Risotto experiences empathy and decides to forgive Rick.
Who am I?
Who am I?
However, Risotto's ending serves as a brutal reminder of Rick Sanchez's true nature. As soon as the neuroinhibitor wears off and the trip comes to an end, Rick, without hesitation or any sign of being moved by the other's forgiveness, coldly takes Risotto out on the spot with a reasoning.
He was talking himself into it. I've seen it before. Cosmic apotheosis wears off faster than salvia.
Risotto Groupon isn't the strongest or most dangerous enemy, but he's proof of the usual fallout from Rick's actions. Even the seemingly insignificant decisions he makes can destroy a civilization and create yet another enemy hell-bent on hunting him down to the bitter end. Rick's ultimate enemy. On the list of Rick Sanchez's enemies, Tammy Guterman ranks at the very bottom, not because of cosmic power or superhuman intelligence, but because of her despicable betrayal that struck at Rick's trust. First appearing under the guise of an ordinary high school girl, Summer's best friend, and Bird Person's lover, Tammy executed an undercover plan so patient and flawless that no one noticed, not even a genius like Rick, who only had the faintest suspicions.
Would you like to RSVP or send a gift?
No, weddings are basically funerals with cake.
The peak of cruelty unfolds in the episode The Wedding Squanchers. The wedding of her and Bird Person, a rare event that gathers the entire Smith family and Rick's closest friends, is, in fact, a massive trap already set in motion. In the most sacred moment, Tammy reveals herself as a high-ranking agent of the Galactic Federation. She coldly fires a shot into the chest of her newlywed husband, killing Bird Person on the spot, and then orders the Federation army to massacre the guests. This act not only shatters the hearts of Rick and Summer, but also directly leads to Rick's imprisonment and Earth falling under the Federation's control.
You could have it.
Sorry, I am not staring at you. I am taking your mugshot.
Tammy's cruelty didn't stop there. Instead of letting Bird Person rest in peace, she retrieved his body and turned him into Phoenix Person, a killing machine serving the very empire he had spent his entire life fighting against. This shows that Tammy isn't just a soldier following orders, but a ruthless manipulator willing to trample on love and memories.
Tammy, what are you doing?
Sit your bird ass down.
Tammy?
Tammy's fate comes in the episode Star Mort Return of the Jerry as a fitting punishment. While trying to hunt down Space Beth, she crosses paths with Rick. Despite attempting to use her authority and arrogance to intimidate him, Tammy ultimately gets decisively shot and killed by Rick.
You made me go to a wedding. And you killed my best friend. I should have said that one first.
Her corpse is even used by Jerry as a puppet to distract Phoenix Person. Truly a tragic and humiliating end for someone who caused so much pain. Although it's later revealed that she and Bird Person had a child together, the legacy Tammy reveals in the eyes of the Smith family is one of unforgivable deceit and betrayal.
Bird Person, no!
The journey of identifying Rick Sanchez's enemies, from the haunting figure of Rick Prime, the brutal punishment by evil Morty, to personal tragedies like Phoenix Person, has revealed a profound truth. Rick's adversaries are not just dangerous villains, but they also reflect Rick himself, from his arrogance and ruthlessness to the deep wounds he always hides. And even though Rick always comes out on top, those battles serve as a reminder that in a chaotic multiverse, no enemy is more terrifying than the consequences of one's own choices.